We've got Kevin.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hi.
Good. I'd like to first of all state I am a Christian.
Okay.
I'm a believer in the extraterrestrial presence.
Does that make you a Raelian or no?
Aliens? Yes. And how that? What is your take on it? You know, I'm a believer like you in Occam's razor. How could you best define that? What the most probable and most likely answer is typically the correct one?
I think the first question would be, why do you believe?
The simplest answer that explains the available evidence is generally the correct one, although it's a rule of thumb more than an actual rule.
Okay, so we agree on that. Well, what do y'all believe? With all the evidence that's out there, you could prove it in the court of law that they do exist, and
that aliens exist?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do y'all believe in that? Or
you're claiming that there's sufficient evidence that would actually stand up in court to prove that aliens exist?
Absolutely.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either. I'm willing to be convinced, but I don't have that kind of evidence right now.
What I'm saying is that may be your atheist. The evidence is available about the existence of this phenomenon. That if y'all wanted to prove that, you know, well, maybe there isn't a God, well, that there are aliens.
There's no requirement. There's no requirement. Hang on. There's no requirement to prove that there isn't a God. Okay? That's not the way it works. The requirement is to demonstrate that a God actually exists, and the same is true for aliens. Until such time, well, you need to actually provide evidence that shows that aliens exist.
Well, if you do any research on the subject at all, you will quickly find out on your own. You do this, the evidence that I'm aware of and I see, and do a Google search on any of it. You can find video evidence. You can find implants. You can find
evidence such as
video evidence. And you can say, well, they're manipulated. How about abduction?
Like video? Somebody had a video camera in an alien spaceship and took video of the aliens, and the picture is clear and not blurry, and they explain things.
Well, okay, you have Occam's razor. Let's apply it to this.
Okay.
Apply it to all the stories, all the millions of people that have come forth with their abduction.
Sure, in the simplest form. For each given phenomena that you claim to be evidence for extraterrestrial life, is there an explanation that does not posit the existence of something which isn't proven, namely aliens, and does not include the problems of, you know, traveling multiple light years, etc.? Is there an alternate explanation for those phenomena? Right down to abductions and everything else, the answer is yes.
People believing things is not any kind of evidence for anything.
What's the guy on the right? Are you saying that there are some physics issues involved, that technology that we know will not allow us to do these things, so it can't happen?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that there are potential problems there. Not that we have the answer to everything. The question isn't, the issue isn't to determine just how unlikely this is. It's a matter of providing good scientific evidence for something. Anecdotal claims, you know, for every person who claims to have been abducted by aliens, somebody else thinks they're Napoleon Bonaparte. You know. Well,
see, I think if you research this, and it's something that the atheist community may benefit from.
From my point of view, you have extremely low standards of evidence, which is clear from both your belief.
Wait, when you say low standards, what do you mean? When somebody
you're willing to accept, no, you hold on. You're willing to accept as true positions which aren't necessarily justified or aren't necessarily supported by evidence. If somebody claims they've been abducted, you're more than likely to accept that they're telling you the truth than that there's some alternate explanation like psychosis. You have to have standards of evidence that fit in with a model of reality. And as somebody who is, in your case, a Christian, you've accepted something based on faith, based on low standards of evidence, that is your religious belief. And you're doing the same thing with regard to belief in extraterrestrials.
Okay, did you let me back on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, I understand your point, but my point is this. This evidence we're talking about, for instance, Dr. Roger Lear, he's a guy, his father was the father of Learjet. He invented whatever. I'm not a smart guy, but what happened was this guy is a surgeon. This is what he does. And people have come to him claiming to be abducted. They did, and he has a high threshold of he wants evidence. So they do X-rays, and they find that there's something in the arm where they say that something was implanted. And they go in, they take this implant out, and they do studies on the implant, and the implant is determined to be non-terrestrial, in that we don't know these elements. They're not consistent.
Okay, you're buying into the biggest bunch of nonsense in existence. There has never, ever been any proof or evidence of anything supernatural. And these claims of, ooh, we found a bit of metal and it's non-terrestrial in origin, do you really think that if somebody found a piece of metal and could demonstrate that its physical makeup was non-terrestrial, that it wouldn't be the biggest news to hit every news channel everywhere?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that there are studies like this out there. I've given you, if you don't believe
No. This would be common knowledge. This would be common knowledge. Just like if Jesus is true and he showed up and appeared, appeared to everybody, everybody would already know this. You're making claims about things which are so impactful and would change our worldview and turn everything we know and realize completely upside down, that the mere fact that we don't already all know about and accept this is sufficient to say that your claims are false.
Simply because, okay, now hold on. Don't put me on hold yet. You're saying because if this is true, then everybody would know it and it would be common knowledge, right? That's what you're saying.
I don't necessarily agree that that's true. I
think that's the danger in this whole thing. That's my question. How can this be held down?
I'm going to say that belief is not the be-all, end-all standard of evidence in either direction. Which means that when you asked earlier if, like, millions of people or whatever you said who believe they've been abducted by aliens could be wrong, the answer is yes, they could be. And could all the people who aren't aware of the existence of aliens also be wrong? The answer is also yes. But believing something is not evidence of anything. People believe all kinds of things, and the way the way to demonstrate that something is true is not by presenting a guy who's a surgeon and therefore he's very smart and he believes it, so you should trust him. The answer is for him to present his evidence, get it in some peer-reviewed scientific journal so that other scientists can take a look at it and kick it around. Maybe they already have. I just haven't heard of that part. I mean, you pick the guy who supports your opinion.
Well, it's not an opinion. You asked me for some hard evidence.
Okay.
I'm telling you the hard evidence is there. And you're telling me basically, well, we're not in the room.
So what do the peer-reviewed scientific journals say about it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't want this information out there.
So how do you know it's true?
It's a conspiracy. See, if this was true, let's go back for a second. Let's say it was an item, metal, whatever, and your claim is that it has been proven to be of extraterrestrial origin.
Well, it's been proven to be that we do not know what it is. We are not privy to.
Now you've completely changed your position.
No, I have
because
not.
Yes, you have.
The element chart does not. Enough of it.
Whoops.
You actually have changed your position.
Did you hang up?
Yeah, you went from a claim of, hey, this is proven to be of extraterrestrial origin, to now we don't know what the answer is. And not knowing something is not proof of something. There's lots of things we don't know. We haven't figured out yet. And at the end, just before you got disconnected, you claimed that there was proof that this was something which didn't appear on the periodic table of elements. If you think that that's true, and that the scientific community hasn't leapt up as a whole to claim these new elements, I don't know what to tell you. You have exceedingly low standards of evidence.
I mean, even if they wanted to cover up the fact that there were aliens, you'd think they'd at least be interested in the fact that some completely new material has been discovered, and they'd want to catalog its properties and stuff and get a hold of it and experiment on it. And that, I have a hard time believing that absolutely everyone in the scientific establishment is so dead set against letting the proof of aliens out that they would basically avoid doing something that would further their own careers.
Right.
Like research on this incredible new metal.
But I don't know. If you'll believe any old thing, sorry.